Okay, welcome back to my channel. We are going to continue with the cockpit modification, the final stage. Thank goodness. This is going to be where we're going to be putting in the red lights, connecting the last piece of the Paragrafix Photoetch on the outside of the cockpit. I'm going to be painting and finally installing permanently the cockpit into the model and gluing it. So this is the final step. I'm nervous about this because once when I do it, I'm afraid that's it. So join me on my journey. Let's get busy with the mod. Okay, so I'm gonna mark the holes where we're gonna be drilling at. Basically, I cut a piece of quarter inch on each side tape, and so I could kind of get to where I need to put these holes at. All right, that's for the little red lights. Oh, move this before I slice my hand. Alrighty, a little small 1/16 drill bit, and I'm gonna very lightly stick over the hole. Boy, I tell you what, these little drills make you want to curse and then some. And try using electrical. Don't work as good. Gotta take it slow. All right, now we're through. All right, next spot, right here. All right. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and not quite. Go a little bit bigger. All right. Because we got to then put it in here and solder it. Right there. That's going to be the fun part. That's going to be the real fun part. Go to the next size. I'll go to the quarter. Quarter off. That should do it. Right. Yep, that did it. That did it, that did it, that did it. Okay. See, that's where the little light's going to fit in here. And then, yeah, you can't see what I got to put it on side camera. Hold on. All right. Now that we've finished drilling the holes in these two sides, we can remove that. It's a quarter inch off-centered, and it's like a quarter inch drill bit that I use. So the two holes are drilled. Now I got my lights from Evans Design, so I don't have to sit there and do too much electrical work because that's just dangerous. But the only thing is they don't come colored red. Now they light up red, but they don't come colored red. And when it's off, I like to show red. So all you do is just take one of these clear Sharpies. I cannot believe this. Every time I go to build. Okay, so now we're going to glue these in a little at a later step in this build. But in order to ensure that there's no light bleeds, I'm going to go ahead and paint this black using the Tamiya color. I'm using the matte flat black. That's the TS06. So I'm going to go outside and paint this and let it dry. Then when we come back, we'll glue the lights in. That'll be the little red lights that light up each side. And then we'll put this in place. Let's put this in here. Lock it down. And then we will go ahead and put the last Paragrafix Photoetch around there. And then we'll start weathering this. Oh yeah, that's might as well. See now, this is going to be a paint that keeps coming off. Yeah, we're going to have to paint this too. Forgot about that. I'll paint this insignia white. So I might as well do that while I'm outside. But before I get to paint this insignia white, I want to show you something that we're going to do. See, for all these edges here, we want to kind of paint over here black. Not this spray paint black, but I'm gonna use like a one of my paint markers that I got from Hobby. Let me show you that. Yeah, Jeff put me onto this. Yeah, Jeff and Chuck. I got these nice acrylic paint markers, and it's basically acrylic paint, so it's really good for these touch-up deals. And that's kind of what I want to do here, is just kind of touch in here, up in here, kind of bring this back and make it, you know, just darken it up right now before I paint over it with that insignia white. It really is going to just like bring out the outlines inside of here, and kind of right here in these areas. So I'm going to do that too that before I painted the insignia white, just all up in these grooves, and then I'll paint over it, and then we'll come back and we'll start weathering up. But that'll be the first process. These are great acrylic paint markers. Let me go ahead and get that done. Gotta go outside and paint. So I'll do that. Okay. Well, we're back with this, and you saw that the finger went straight to it, almost ripped off the part. What I've done is I went ahead with the marker, and I colored in these sections black, and and also this part too. And now we're going to paint it the insignia white. And before I do that, one little step I have to do. Let me go find it. You know, I just had that thing too. There you are. Here we go. My Tamiya and color. Yeah, let me show you what to do with that. Take a little cloth. I'm going to put the lid back on top of it, because I've been known with my hands to spill things. All I'm going to do is come over here, slightly just dampen these areas here before I paint insignia white. Just enough to get it nice and rubbed in there like that on the model. What that's doing is going to help pull out all of these features on here. When I paint it, it'll be nice, and some more of this stuff on it. It smells awful though. Get rid of this smell soon before I stink up the whole house and get the commander-in-chief upset in here. So the commander-in-chief would be the dog. She's Basset Hound. She got a sensitive nose. She'll be all upset if there's any type of disturbance in the atmosphere, because she is queen of her domain. We're just residents here. It's her place. Dog. All right. Now I'm going to show you what's gonna. It's going to make a difference. Whoa! When you go to paint it white, I don't think I saw that. Saw what just happened there. Yeah. Okay. I have to paint that white too. Okay, signal white. Okay. I got that. I don't have to be a perfect job, just enough to kind of bring it out, because we're going to be doing it again. But it helps before you go and you paint. And we'll come back to this over here also and kind of put some other marks on it. So I'm going to go outside and paint this thing insignia white. Let it dry and we'll come back. Okay, we're back with this maze. I went to a Tiger Fest model show today. So give you a pinpoint of working on this. You see the lights blinking in the background while I got them testing. Well, anyhow, so where we left off was I went to paint this insignia white. And I did this side to show you just some of the pre-weathering. Now, this is not the finished product by any means. And we painted the inside of the thing black to prevent any light leaks. What I'm going to do over here is I did not weather this. I wanted to show you the difference between the two. I did this one. I want to show you my secret. Now, I love this Tamiya panel line. Ancient color here. I like to let them rip. And what I do is I just, there we go, and let it follow its path down in there. Now, I don't get too excited about it. You know, when you put the camera on, that's when it decides it doesn't want to work. Okay. When it definitely decides it doesn't want to work. I like when I build these models like the Millennium Falcon, I like to put myself, you know, into the, as if I was building for the actual movie. And it helps, you know, it get you going and thinking about, you know, how these great model builders did all of this work and the talent. And today when I saw the beautiful talent of from the Tiger Fest, you know, I'm thinking about Lorraine Patterson as he worked at his workshop and was building these models and for Star Wars, the Galaxy, and he's one of my true heroes of the all-time model builders. You know, he worked on Millennium Falcon, all the Star Wars models, and Lorraine was really good. And that's back when there's no AI and nothing, and you're just going over and you're building these model kits, and knows what it's all about. Notice what I'm doing here is I'm just putting a tad bit of this line on a little rag. And you have to throw away the rag because it really just gets itself all smelling pretty good. And what I like to do is come over here, and this is how I'm making the gray. Remember we talked about a while back when I'm doing the painting series on the Millennium Falcon, and one of the things that came to mind is how are you going to make this not so white? Well, this is how. This is my gray tone to it. And I'm doing this with this part of the model because this is going to be separate and apart from all the other stuff that I'm building. What I mean is, for the actual model I'm putting together, this will attach probably one of the last pieces I will put on the model before we assemble the top and bottom together. So what this did was this really gave it that gray old tone that you're looking for when you're doing the actual model itself. Now the cameras don't do it justice. What I mean is you're weathering up this product in this model, and now it's not that bright white, but it's more like a dull gray white that you're looking for in the actual model build. And we're going to be painting some of this up here. So this particular stage is taking a couple of, you know, turns and burns, but we're going to do it because we don't want to get it together and then have the large problem of messing up these wires. That's what it's about, folks. You see these wires? I've done, you see this top right here? I'm waiting to the very last moment to put, that's what's going to block these darn LEDs in the background. But I'm really waiting for the very last moment when we put this thing in here. But I went ahead and I'm letting the wires run. Because once when you get these wires in, you really don't want to be moving this monster around. So our next part that we're moving forward with will be the painting of the touching up this outside, and then we're going to go ahead and put our red lights in. Now I will leave a link in the description of another model builder, Models by Chris. He did this a little different. I choose not to tempt fate. I mean, see, I almost put him down there again. That's about the 4th time I almost did this. They go right here. And that's going to be the issue. When we go and we put these in here, we're going to have to carve out a little bit of this this area here so that the wires can be a little bit flushed down, because that's one way. Because the model itself doesn't really lend itself to too much leeway with these bulbs. So the bulbs don't leave themselves too much leeway of bending and crooking them together. But we will get, I promise we'll get these lights in here one way or the other. And this is where it's going to have to run. But you see right here, that's where the actual piece, this piece right here, this piece fits. Come on. This piece fits right down up in there. And so we're going to have to do some modifications. Okay, but not too much. It's almost an impossible part to begin with. I think we'll have enough to don't even worry about that. Enough to, it's not sitting too flush in there to begin with. When I go put this thing in here, it'll be a modern miracle if it stays together. And that's where my little red light's gonna go and run around here. I'm just gonna see if I had to mod this little piece of. And I want to glue this at the very last minute. My wife walked by and she's like, "Man, this looks like one big tingling mess." Well, you could say that. I'm gonna be totally and say what it's not. It is a little bit of a. Lit it all up, that's for sure. Okay. One thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna make sure with this little piece here, it has a way, make sure I run that wire out, because that'll be something. Oh, just so much. But I'm babbling on and I'm just moving back and forth with this. And it's okay. Just drive myself nuts, that's all. Is that the one? No, that's the one for this. Anyhow, we'll get it. We'll get it. So, let's get to the red light. Put those in here. Move that over to the side. Let these red lights kind of dry in here. I'm going to put them in there. And I'm going to use some super glue. Darn thing. Just a little bit to make this. I gotta modify this so I can just sit in there nicely. And get my grinding wheel out. What I'm talking about is right here. You see how that light just sits there? I need to grind it so that it gets this little piece in, a little piece. Gotta fit flush in this. So it's gonna be square. I'm gonna get my grinding wheel out. We'll be back. Okay. There it is. There's my little bulb. The red bulb, fits in here, just like so. It's about enough down for it to fit. So now it kind of gives it some room. And cover just about the bulb in about half of that, or at half of the light, because you don't want it to stick up too high. Now, using my black marker over here, acrylic marker, I'm going to go ahead and now knock it down on the floor a couple of times. Just color this in black, so for any light leaks in this area. You won't see it, but I like to try to get it all in. Okay, now that that's colored in, let that dry. Then we're going to come back and we're going to apply some glue and glue in the red light, and then go to our next assembly stage. Okay, we are back. Got our lights all grinded away and installed. Yes, I am in both of these areas. And now what I want to point out is, as I was, we did the test fit on the last video, and one of the things I noticed is how this is going in. I'm going to do more modifications, but maybe the last one, hopefully. I'm about to grind off this little bottom half of the back of the Falcon cockpit, so that the fibers fall flat against this round piece that's lighting up the back, because it's making it too tight up in this area where I have to glue this down. So that's the plans for that. Then we're going to wrap the fibers up. It's taking a little bit longer to do this video because this is the final step. Once when I glue everything down, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be done. To get it unglued would be buying a whole new set. And here, I went ahead and I painted. This is the metal that's going to go over this piece right here. That'll be our last step that we install. I want to show you. I went primed it. Then I came back with the primed it with Tamiya gray primer, and then I went back with it with a little metallic gray. The reason why I want to give it a little shine as we put in the model, because we're going to be weathering underneath here to make it stand out. So that was the thought process there. When we get to this part, that means I got it all wrapped up. The cockpit will be done. If you're following along, please, if you got any questions, answering the best I can. I will go ahead and grind this down and do that off camera because I don't want to. I gotta wear my. It's a little rough when I'm trying to film and grind it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. We'll come back and it'll be all nice and grinded. What I am using, I just to let you know, I'm using my portable tool with. I'm going to try to use one of these stone grinder wheels rather than the cut. I'm scared the blade's going to cut my fiber, and that would not be nice. We'll go ahead and do this. Okay, well, we're back, and we're going to grind it off the bottom of this. Now we're going to go into the. Some of that thing just fell off of there. Say, with these helping hands, they sure don't help sometimes, but that's okay. Get that thing back on there. But if I didn't have to swing it around, now what we're doing is we're going to do the final adjustments to our fiber optics. As you notice, I got the helping hands because I need to keep it straight. I'm going to show you what I do. I cut it even. This is my last cut on it. Now, I take some super glue. I need to keep the ends here exactly like this. And I just put super glue over these wires. They're going to be covered with, you don't melt it now. And I'm going to cover them with my little sleeve like this one's covered. We're going to show you us doing that and how we secure that in. And what I do is I put just super glue over the wiring so it stays nice and straight. And I let it dry a couple of times, you know, so you don't make the mistakes I did. Don't glue the wiring by the clamp. Yeah, that's happened a time or two. It just needs to keep it kind of straight and next to each other. Now here we don't glue on this side of past that clamp because that's going to need to be the flexible side, and that'll be covered up with black tape. And the reason we're doing this is that, one, it helps with light bleeds, and two, the bulb then gets right on the fibers, and it really helps light them up. Especially the thin fibers that are colored, you can't have the bulb too far away from it or too long of a run. No, then it won't light up. So, no, everybody's, you know, I appreciate y'all hanging in there waiting for this video. It took some time to do this because this is the final installment until we get to actually putting it into the model. So we got a lot to do with the model. On this channel, we're doing the person who's buying this now really has went to do some 3D printing. They wanted to really the inside of the Falcon to be customized. So this is going to take a long time for this build. A lot of custom weathering and painting, which I'm capable of. It's just that right now I'm dealing with my mother and my poor mama in a nursing home, and then retiring soon, and then that's going to take on a whole. My mother's going to take on a whole different. But the person that and I thank Jack for waiting. He just wants it done right, not fast, just right. Knows it's coming. As long as he sees the videos, he knows I'm doing it. So, you know, I'm hoping at the end of this it all pays off. And but anyhow, and on the way, showing you guys how to do this too. I got my Batmobile I want to start, but customs first. The Batmobile's for me. And that and the Ghostbusters. And the Enterprise, I don't know. I don't have a buyer for it yet, but that one I will sell as well. I'm into building models for people on consignment. It's going to be my part-time job when I retire. I enjoy the build, and some of the models I enjoy keeping. There was one I would like to have kept, but once you have going on, I got to commit to doing what I said I would do. So there you go. and we'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and we'll continue the build. Yeah, there's a lot of electrical mess in here. Okay, we're back with the glue is dry with the left panel, and now we're just going to insert the color fibers into this tube. Okay, and they go in nice and easy now because we have all of them and that measured quite right. So let me get out there and measure it again. It's going to be right there. I need room for the bulb, so I'm going to have to cut it. That was good. Cut a little bit more off and get that bulb right by it. Okay, good. Just a little bit more trim. I don't know how that happened, but make sure it all goes in nice and smoothly. Okay. Need them all at the same length. Okay. The glue's holding everything in place, so that's good. All right, now this is our bulb. Now we're moving from testing to actual routing the wires and all. So this is what's going to take some time in this video. It's the actual making sure we get all of this right. In the end, it's going to all pay off because glue it down, put everything in there, and we're going to be stuck with the results. There is no coming back from that. Okay, get that off. Okay. Okay. Now, what we have to do over here on this end is when we get our fibers in there, we're happy where they're at, like right here, right when it bends. I'm going to take some black electrical tape. Now I got some very thin black electrical tape just for this. I'm sorry, 1 second. Get this wire over here driving me nuts. Get out of my way before I want to electrocute myself. One of my studio camera wires fell off. One thing about filming, you gotta keep fighting with all this camera stuff. All right. Okay. Put my glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing. That didn't work. Okay, you see how they're coming out? Maybe a little bit more like right here. So there's enough room. What we're doing here is we're taping in just the wires to the inside. So when we pull on this, there's a delicate balancing act. It's a pain in the royal. All right, I can see that's not going to work. I hate tape. Okay. We get our bulb in. Should have put the bulb in first. Yeah, do that first. Put the bulb in first, then you fight with the rest of it. And I'm going to go ahead and tape in the bulb. Okay. Roll that so it's nice and clear. Okay. Now, put the strands in. Okay. Now, try to cut it a little bit. Cut it too long there. Okay, now it's nice and tug. Okay, good. All right. Give it a little over test. I should have done this step. All right. Before I put the bulb in, making sure it was the right bulb. But I can see it's the clear bulb. Okay, yep, there's everything lighting up. You can see the fiber's lit. Okay, now, here comes the next part of what we're going to be doing with the wiring. Because I'm selling this, but this is also good for anyone that's building a model to keep track of. This is what my buddy Pete did, the Enterprise. He labeled his wires so that he would remember what wire went to what, and that's what I'm doing. This is the left panel, so when it's in there and something's going wrong with the left panel, you don't have to fight all the wires. You can figure out which one is the left panel. See, it's still not doing right. This thing's going to cause me to glue it. This is the only way it's going to work right, is to glue it. If that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. All right, so since the tape's being stubborn, go ahead and get some more glue in here. I'm out of that glue. Oh, too much glue. We'll run out of glue. Okay. I am coming. Can you give me about 5 seconds? Oh, God have mercy. Thought it was in the clear. Everybody was nice Sunday. And everybody was supposed to be where they're supposed to be at 9 to text. Okay. We're going to go ahead and try to glue all this in here. It'll hold these wires. And I don't want to pulling out. So let that dry. There's a lot of gluing, drying, gluing, drying. Okay, well, man, you're talking about a monster of a job. Good Lord. All right. Get the wiring done. Took a lot of this. I told my brother I really wish I'd have paid attention to electronics class, but after a long break and some quiet time that I was given, I figured out how to do it. Let me show you. So, if you're doing this, I'll leave a link where you get these nifty hefty connectors. They're real simple. You just open them up, connector wires to prevent us from having to solder them. And I prefer that, nothing, because if something goes wrong in here, well, guess what? We got enough. Okay, the light's lighting up on the other side, so that's good. I'm just going through the checks. But what happens is I got 3 series of wires coming out, and they've been labeled. This is the first. This is the cockpit forward, and that's all this lights up here. Now I'm going to turn off the lights in a minute and show you the whole thing at the end. But it's all these lights up here. That's all by the cockpit, the center console. And then on this side of the world, that's this one. On this one here, this is all of my LEDs at the top. And this is the LED back panel with the red light in the middle. And what I did was I took red and black wires and I tied it into the master. I forgot to put my M on there, because it's going to be marked. This is the master plug. Okay, that's the master plug. Okay. So that being the master plug, it goes into the cockpit, the Falcon 3D cockpit. Right there was his cockpits, and you can turn it on and off just like you would on the instructions. And that's where it ties into. Okay. Now, I told you in the model I was going to glue this down. Well, a little voice said, I wouldn't do that if I were you just yet, until you put this thing into that model, make sure it all works right. But I want to show you this part, because it's the last part of the Falcon that has to go around, and you're going to glue it down just like this. But I want to show you some modifications I'm going to do real quick right here, just so you can see how I go about doing the top of this. If I don't take everything down in my studio. This has been one heck of a wrong. There we go. That's my gunmetal. Okay. Man, this has been a long journey to the deep with this. Oh wait a minute. There they are. At least I got a little bit organized. I'm gonna buy these new ones. Oh, folks, if you're following along with this, you know, just the wiring took me a couple of days. I mean, a couple of weeks to just get it all right. What I'm doing here, I'm going to do a little orange rust first. I'm just simply lightly brushing in there like that. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to come back with the gun rust. Just kind of blend that together. Just give it a kind of grayish Star Wars orange and gray look I'm looking for. Kind of give compliments to the orange of the Republic Rebellion. And now, when I've done that, and you put this over this, and we mount it, it won't be as deep, but you can actually see underneath here of how it would be dirty, and it would have gotten itself all dirty and all like that. So yeah, that's that. Yay, hooray, hooray. The next time we see this, we'll be putting it into the actual model base. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights. Give you a quick light tour of it. You can see the lights all nice and working there inside the cockpit. I think I'm going to wait till nighttime. And we'll film this port at night. Okay. So here it is, all lit up inside of the cockpit. Lights flashing there. And then kind of take a deeper look inside. And that's everything. Ooh, oh, oh. And it's no light bleeds either. Man, you talk about happy this is done. Well. Yes, indeed. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching, and may the good news
be yours. Check out these other videos from my channel.